We're gonna reinstall this heater. Here's the existing heater. It's a Raypak MVB. The reason we're going to be reinstalling this heater all kind of snowballed off of one thing. This circulator pump right here started making a loud bearing noise. The cause of that is this motor has to either be horizontal or vertical. It can never be downwards like this. And to do that, what we have to do is remove this venting. We're going to reinstall new venting. We're going to install new exhaust stack. Is this guy's not properly supported, so in the wind it starts to blow around. So new exhaust stack, new circulator pump. We're gonna re-support this plumbing here to support the weight of the circulator pump and the injector pump here. Then the other thing is occasionally this heater would trip the low water cutoff switch, which means there's air getting into the heater. Part of the problem is right here, we're pulling out of this pipe and this is looped over. This is not a self-priming pump. So what's happening is it's pulling in air and the air is getting trapped in there, which triggers that safety switch. So we're gonna plumb this in a different way. The other thing is you guys have a bypass valve here. The bypass valve is pushing water up this pipe and into here, which alters the flow of this pump. This pump is a variable speed pump. It speeds up and down depending on the boiler inlet temperature. This isn't installed properly. You have to have water that's gravity fed to this pump, and then this pump goes up and down speed depending on the temperature going into the heater. And we're gonna replumb this section from out of the filters to here. This pipe used to have clamps at one point to support all the weight of this pipe plus the water in it, and those have been removed, which made this pipe sag here in the middle. So the best approach right now is just to cut it back and start fresh. So yeah, we'll go back with a new bypass and we'll come out of the bottom of this pipe on the horizontal run of the T facing down and then come back. And what that's gonna do is you're only gonna be diverting only water out of that 6-inch pipe, no air, because the air tends to stay at the top of the pipe. So we're gonna run it up over across here per the manual, have 2 T's and no bypass valve in the middle. And then a lot of the little stuff like these wires here, the wire nuts are pointing down, right? So they're gonna fill with water and they're not waterproof wire connections. So stuff like that, it's the small details that add up and make the system more reliable in the long run. This heater has been having to be reset daily to clear the low water cutoff switch, because at night the pump turns off and then this system has a bunch of air in it. When the pump turns back on, it's unable to reprime properly with the way that it's plumbed. Install it per the manual specifications and everything will work out. You vary from that, that's when you start running into uncharted waters, right?
Yeah.
No, this isn't supported or anything.
Wow. Is it leaking?
Yeah, there's a leak here with this valve. So that's getting corrected. We're missing a valve handle. There's just multiple issues that at this point, the only way to fix this properly is just to cut it all out and do it properly. Yesterday, so we repiped the gas line, put a new ball valve on there, and a proper sediment trap for the manual. As you can see on the heater right here, they provided a nice little diagram of how they want the sediment trap. Before it was configured with like a drip leg, where right here in the middle of this run they had a T pointing down with just a pipe and a cap, but this is how the manufacturer wants it. That's the way we're gonna do it. I mean, look at this work here. Someone puts a junction box here to extend the wiring or whatever, and they put it behind this conduit here, so you can't take the lid off, and it's not even mounted. This isn't a proper connection here either, right? I mean, you're not supposed to glue in metallic seal tight and do a male adapter like that.
Yeah.
And then you just have the box hanging out there, right? Not cool, man. This guy's the flow meter. It's good. So this guy sits in the pipe as the flow goes past it, spins the paddles, and then this registers on a digital flow meter display in the equipment room. Like when we heated that equipment over there. We got 2 heaters, right? That's all that gas line could support. The nice thing about having 2 heaters versus 1 large heater is if one goes down or has an issue, the other one can maintain temperature, which some heat is better than no heat. So that's why we prefer to do that. In general, we always try to have 2 heaters at the minimum for that reason.
Just for commercial pools usually?
Yeah.